Hey y'all, I'm gonna show you my little machine. I don't know if I can see this very well. It's got a little gas mask bags to hold toilet paper, different, there's like a little tow rope. Got on the other side, gloves and tie down, so forth. A little shovel. And then I'm in the woods a bunch, so I made this little deal. It hooks up like this, and you can pull out your little loppers. The main thing I wanted to show you, none of that probably really matters to anybody. The main thing I wanted to show you was this. Hopefully you can see it. It's this plate that this winch it's still going on, that this winch thing bolts to this dare, and it's made out of two different pieces of metal because this is indented right here, and then it's got this receiver hitch like type deal onto there, and it goes clear under and gets bolted into the stock location of this. And I made this because I had a snowplow. Let me show you the snowplow piece that I made. Here's where it was at one point. This thing came off of a John Deere Sabre. Right there. It's not no more, but it came off a John Deere Sabre. This part hooked on, you drove your lawnmower over the top of it, and that hooks up to the back end. And on the lawnmower, it bolts in, kind of see that little lift thing, and I made this piece. Now, this piece, it slides up onto that deal where it says, and you pin it through here. And then the winch would hold on to it right here and pull it up and down. Okay, well, I kind of changed that over now. It isn't like that no more, because here, I'll go over this way. I made this here monstrosity. This is the rest of that Sabre. Just your, this here ports the controller, you know, and it goes back over this way. But here's this thing. It's the same deck. Some of these mounts I made different, but it's the same deck. This here deal in here, I made this a year ago, and so that's why, you know, nobody's seen me make it. All these pieces on the deck came with the mower. This is the same hood latch deal, same battery. I had to make a different cable, or I bought a different cable. The muffler stock, though I had to cut it in different places too, and I put a little section in here to get it to bolt to the stock location. And all this is just 1x2. It's real thin, it's not real thick stuff. Got a little adjustment dealie right here, so you can tighten the belt. Once you turn it on, and it's going, and that's just all there is to it. And I got these little wheels that are on there. It touches the ground, so it can't go any farther. And this here deck is 5 inches off the ground. Made this thing mainly to, I'm gonna go use it to, I'm just gonna call it mowing the pasture, but it's just a big yard's all it is. But I made this just for that. But it's got where the battery hooks up. All this I bypassed all the safety deals. But there's the battery holder and there's a solenoid, same gas tank that was in it. Everything's the same that goes down for it. the whole thing's just, it all came with it. The plastic just so that can't get all wet, but and then there's this here right here. All right, that's how I hook it up to this here machine there, and I use this right here. It bolts on the front, or not bolts, but let me grab this pin right here, carry it out so you can kind of see. The thing just slides on there. Use this pin. Whoops, this is kind of really hard to do one-handed. It slides in there. Whoops, I don't like it going in that far, but it don't really matter, to be honest with you. Just locks that in right there so that it stays on there. But I have another, here, let me put this out because I'm gonna, so this is obsolete now. But the thing is this, a person could use their old lawnmower piece. Like I said, that came off of that Saber. I had to lengthen it in there, right in there, to make it long enough to fit underneath there. But that there piece is all come off of that lawnmower. Same with this here blade. This part here, from all this all came from that lawnmower. But here's my other little piece here. I do this just because that's a lot of weight on the front of this for that lawnmower that I just showed you. It's really hard to do with one-handed. This thing sets up there, slides in there. You put these pins in here. This really sucks. Just go in there, lock this down. Now, this has got little hooks on there, see? So when you pull on this here bar, when you pull on it, it can't pull this way. So it puts less stress on that pin right here. Though it's put into some pretty decent metal. I mean, I've never had it come off yet, and it's been on there for a little while now. But these here things right here, they slide into that lawnmower piece. I'm not going to hook it up today because I don't need to hook it up today. But it goes into there. I'm going to hook back up the snowplow. Let me start this thing up and now, I'm going to show you how easy this hooks up. It's semi pain in the butt, but it isn't too bad. This just comes out, that comes out, that comes out. And I put some holes in here, right here. You just grab it and pull it over. Oh boy, now I'm really going to find some fun here. Slides in like so. In like so. Put that thing on there, that in there, and that, oh shoot, big dang it, I'm such a dope. Need that pulley goes over there. can. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna have to slip you down a little bit because I need to bring this out. All right, I'll move this way. This does two things here. One, it goes, I'll hook it up and then I'll show you what it does. That way you kind of need to get a head deal, don't I? Now you come out just a little bit further. And this looks right to that. And I got my winch mount thing right there. Raises it up and raises it down. And this here piece right here, what it does is it keeps the cable coming out and then allows the cable to go straight up, and then it comes down like this. Now the reason this is in here and this is like this blade was an afterthought. Okay, I already had the deal that mounted up to there. It was easy peasy squeezy. In fact, this was less complicated here because I just could come out and hook it right to the snowplow, which deals here, and it'd pick it up and down. But like I said, I made that mower, and that mower piece hooks into here, and the winch needed to be able to raise this high because I wanted to be able to get this that mower off the ground and be able to drive around faster so it didn't touch the ground. And if I come up against a tree stump, you know, the mower will raise 12, 13, I can't remember. I want to say 12 inches off the ground. That'll keep me pretty safe and not fibbing. And in order to do that, I had to put this pulley right here in, and I had to put that pulley in because in other words, this cable would run right into the front of this. So I put this cable in to bring it out straight, and then run it up to this here deal. And then the cable runs down. I'll show you one of these days when I hook up the mower. And then it hooked, but I was actually using this. I took this off just for this. And it hooks onto the bottom of that deck and raises it up. Well, when this is hooked into that mower, it allows it to pick up and down. So it can pick all the way up and all the way down. And then on that mower, as you've seen, here I'll come back out to show you that again. This, it hooks in there, and it also pitches. So when I run up onto a bank or something like that, it allows this whole mower to pivot. So it can sit there, and I can run it up a little bank, and it'll say, and it also picks up and down. And that's about it on that mower deal. I'll show you something else that I'd made. I got plans for this here cart, but I'll show you some other silly things that I made. I made this when it was for the mower. So the tongue is roughly, it's about the same, and this was the same. These are just some push mower dealies. The difference is I put this here deal in here, and it runs out the cable out the end. And what happens when I pull on this cable, I can undo this chain, and it allows this to fall to the ground and becomes a drag. And whoops, sorry, cat. And I plan on taking on here, and I don't know yet. I say like railroad spikes, but I don't know what I'm going to use. I kind of a scavenger. If you can tell, this is like a 4-inch pipe, and I mean, that's a steering column knuckle and from a car. It's just junk. All this is just junk. But then I got this come off of a like a oil pipeline valve, and then what it does is you pull this little thing here, a little spring, but you pull that and you can turn the wheel one way, and see how it does? It turns around. When I pivot this, turn it one way, it'll tighten up on this cable, and it allows that to pivot. So like when I'm dragging the driveway, and it has the rocks in there, I can pivot it one way or the other. So as it's dragging, it just don't drag flat, it'll push rock into the middle. And I made for it this deal. This here deal slips into that same square tubing that's on the front, the same pin, and it slides up underneath there. This roller right here is for the cable. Cable comes out the winch, comes down along this wheel, and then goes down underneath the four-wheeler. And I go, oh, I don't know, this doesn't raise up or lower that much, so just past this here deal, and I hook it up to that there cable end. So then from the four-wheeler, I can push the in button and it lifts the drag, push the out button, it lowers the drag. I want to be able to steer the rock or the dirt or whatever I'm trying to push. I spin the wheel, and then the wheel turns the deal. And I've got this chain on here, so I call that like my a road travel chain, so that I don't have a ton of stress on the cable, and then with it hitting the bumps or anything, you know, you're driving down the dirt road or whatever, rock road, it doesn't put as much stress on it, so the chain takes the stress out of the cable. But this was made way before I made that lawnmower, or the lawnmower deal I just showed you out of that old John Deere Sabre. But here's my drag. Like I said, one of these days, I think I'm gonna take and make some sort of, like, I'll call them ripper teeth maybe. I don't know if I will or not. I guess I kind of wishy-washy that way. I may one of these days, but like I said, I haven't really scavenged anything yet. I have a lot of drill stem rods, some throwaway drill stem rod that I might use, or I said I might use railroad spikes, or I don't really know, because it's up in the air. It still works pretty good. I know a lot of people will say, and it's said that I've made this, a lot of people make fun of me, there. But the thing is it's just fun to build stuff. That's really what I like to do. I just like to make stuff, and something that has a purpose. I've made a ton of things that fail, and like this works really well. I can drag the rock, and it weighs a lot. This is I can't remember. I know it's every bit a 1/4 inch steel. I can't remember what exactly is now. It's capped off, so I don't remember. But it's actually fairly heavy. It's a few hundred pounds, or maybe, I don't know what it weighs, to be honest with you. But my thought on this was, like I said, making a ripper deal for it. And in order to do the ripper deal, how this folds down like so, as the rippers are going in, they'll just drag on the ground and won't do anything. So I thought about taking some sort of steel, don't know yet what I can scavenge or whatnot, but bringing it up at an angle, and then be able to put, my thought was 2-3 cement bags of cement in it. Those things are like 80 pounds a piece, and so a couple hundred pounds of weight on this would be even more. And if I cantilever it out, it would want to force this back, so more weight on it, and it's still dragging it through some harder dirt or rock. It would still want to pull it up. It didn't like it'd be the most ideal ripper bar or whatever, but it would work pretty good. I know that because this works really good without even ripping, you know. But it takes a little bit longer because it loosens stuff up. But that ripper teeth would do it a lot more or faster. But there's this piece that I use as a yard drag. And then I got this cart here that I'm going to do the same thing to. I'm going to put some sort of scissor lift on it. This was actually the tongue that was on that drag over there, but and when I was on the lawnmower I just used a rope, and I had a pulley system in there, so when I sat on the lawnmower seat I could just pull the rope and it would go through the pulley deal and lift the deal up and down. And that's why that's still there. I never took it off because heck, it's a pretty good place to store it right now. But I broke the tongue on the cart. I overloaded it with firewood and it bent it, and so now it has a real strong tongue in it. But I was thinking about making a scissor lift for it. In fact, you know, and I do the same thing, you know, I don't know yet where because I haven't started on it, but being able to lift it up in the middle, run the cable through the whole thing, so when I pull it, it pulls the scissor up and dumps the cart automatically and so forth. But at the moment, this is my new project that I'm going to be doing. I was telling a friend of mine about how I wanted to do that with that drag, and he said he had this old piece of machinery, and it actually goes to that old Sears, what do they call them, Super Sport 12s or Super 12s. That's an old lawn tractor, and that's what it goes to. But I'm going to take and build with this tongue that I've already kind of started on. I built some roller areas here so that cable will be able to come through, and this is going to be the tongue. And be able to, then again, I got to make some wheels for it because those are just standard. That was a 3-point deal to how it hooked up, and I'm going to take those wheels that are on there and take those off. I'm not going to use those, and but I will turn around and in here put some sort of pivot, like a pivot bar. That's what all that steel-os over there is for. Put a pivot bar in here, and I have some I think it's some 8-inch chunks of pipe that, you know, I got a few feet of it. About cutting out, I don't know how big because I haven't really started on it, but a couple wheels out of that, and they've got this nice little hoop deal, so as long as I miss this piece here and so forth, I should be able to put those pieces of pipe, make a little dealie in there with the pipe going through it, a deal back here so that the cable can pull it and pull the tires down to pick this here up, and do the same thing. Use a chain to, let's say, hold it up into a road where I can drag it with road. It'll have a tongue on it. It'd be the difference between this and so forth. But use a chain, be able to hook it in road mode, and then that way it just rides on the tires or the steel. It'll be a steel wheel. Like I said, I'll just turn around and use a piece of pipe, cut it, you know, I don't know, 3 inches wide, and then makes like a spoke in the middle of it, and that'd be about it. You know, put a grease dirt in it, and that'd be about it. Never go flat, that's for sure. That's one pain in the butt, is tires that go flat. And then when I raise the tires, it'll lower this deal so it can drag on the ground. Use the chain to measure out, let's say, I figured I'd probably just go in inch increments, you know, so put a chain where you can put it on where it goes down 1 inch, or put the chain on it where 2 inch, 5 inch, all the way, you know, however, I, you know, don't know. But still be able to do the same thing, push the button, pick the tires up, lift the implement up, and go. It's one of the nice things that I've done through here, like that deal over there. You just push the button and pull it, lifts it up, and sets it down all by itself. You don't have to get up or off or anything. I want to do the same thing with this, and it's just like that lawnmower. It don't have to do anything. That piece that starts the lawnmower goes into this here tube right here, and that box sets about, you know, somewhere in here, and you choke it, you know, and turn your key and start it up right here, so I can set on there, turn it on or off from there, set it up and down from there. I guess it's a little bit, you know, it's not, let's say, super convenient to hook up because you have these pins, you have that pin, and you have that cable, but you know, it's actually not all that hard, and it works really good. It works excellent. Not only for snow do I use this floor for, but I push leaves off the ground, and it works really good. One thing I don't like about it is this here, the way it sits. So you can see right in there. But I said all this metal it's scrap metal. It's just, well, some of it isn't. Like, you know, some of the things I end up getting, but I buy it from a, oh gosh, I don't, they manufacture like hay bunks, feed carts, things like that. So a lot of some of these metals as just drops pieces, and so, you know, it's almost free. But what I don't like about it is, like I said, there's that right there, and when it's in road height, I got to bring the deal a long ways up so that I still have all this major clearance. So like right now, I actually go down to the ground with it. It doesn't all that big a deal. In order to keep the really none of it's a big deal. But if I'd have had more of this stuff, I could have come up and down. So when I picked it off the ground, it would almost instantaneously gain the clearance. You know, like this is X amount off the ground, I don't know how far, maybe 4 inches or so. It would have gained it instantaneously as soon as I started picking it up. So that way, with when I raised, whoops, ouch, when I raised this up, it wouldn't be covering up them headlights. You know, I'd have been. But there again, I mean, it doesn't really hit anything. It's one of these anal thoughts to think I got to have all the clearance that this four-wheeler has. Now the reason I got in where I made that snow plow and so forth is you can buy these things, these snow plows for these four-wheelers. They're really not all that much money. I mean, they're quite a little bit of money, I guess. Or I don't know. It's been a while since I looked at them, but they are a little bit of money. They're not free by no means. But in order to do that, you have to put the mount underneath the four-wheeler, and then the mount has a plate that you bolt to the four-wheeler. Well, it's not that I'm always out off-roading or anything like that, but as soon as I'd put that mount, it has the little deals that hang down that the snowplow bolts to. So you instantly lose, 2-3 inches of clearance. So, and I've went over logs, and where I've used the skid plate to where you're sliding over the log. Well, then I'd have been catching those stupid things. I just didn't like it. There's 2 reasons I didn't like it. Is one, you'd lose ground clearance, and all the time, no matter what, whether this plow's on or off, you lost your ground clearance. 2, you got to crawl underneath. Well, not really crawl underneath, but it's clear up in there, and looks like a pain in the butt to hook up. So you hook it up before the snow and say, I'm not getting all wet and nasty because of the snow, or you getting wet and nasty. And with mine, you don't even have to be on the ground. You can just turn or stand up through the whole thing, But that's really, well, one, I had the snowplow, so I didn't have to buy it. When I bought that mower, I paid $125, $150. I think I paid it was like $150, I think. They couldn't get it running, and it came the mower with the snow plow and so forth, and I brought it home and fixed it. It was just a wiring deal where, like, the safety switch was telling it not to start. So, well, what it was is they took the seat safety switch and they wired it closed. And the problem is it needed to be wired open. So when you got off the seat, it closed the circuit, which told it not to start. And when you sat on the seat, it opened the circuit. Well, when they disconnected it, they wired it to where it was a closed circuit, so it never wanted to start. So all I did is just cut the wire. I mean, it wasn't even that hard, just unhooked it from each other, and it ran. And I run it for 2 years that way, you know. And then I don't know, I just decided I didn't want it no more, and I got this four-wheeler, and said most of the time the snowplow was on the on it anyway, so I used it in the yard by pushing rocks and dirt and leaves. And so I didn't have the mower deck on it very often at all. I didn't use it for that. So I just, like I said, paid like $150 for it. So I have $150 into now my snow. Well, I got a little bit more because I got this here, some of this metal. I don't know what I think I bought that piece, that channel iron. I think I gave $1 for it or something. I don't know. They normally charge me like 19-20 cents a pound. Some of this stuff, like I said, either of those pieces there, I think I got $5 more in it, you know, some of it I already had and some of it I didn't, but I don't know exactly what I bought and what I didn't buy. I mean, obviously them washers I end up buying at some point, or scavenge them from somewhere, or I don't really know. I know this here metal here, this is all metal from that store. There's these two pieces of plate, you know, 7 drops. These are all cut off drops. This is all drops, and they charged me $5 for it. So I have the pivot pipe right here, and I have this pipe that is going to spin the tires. So this is what I'm going to hook the tires up to, and these are going to be the little hinge parts. So you know that's how it's going to be. And then maybe this piece, some of this I didn't need. I just said I'm going to use it or grab it because I might need it. But that's kind of how that is. I just grabbed some junk, and like I said, I think I paid $5 for it. But here's my snow plow. Here's my nice little kitty. It always seems to want to just drive me crazy, wanting loving. And this is the four-wheeler that I kind of made into some little utility tool thing. Got my water, got some of my most important part, toilet paper, some gloves. Nothing fancy, nothing, but it sure seems to work. Saves me a lot of trouble. I don't know. I hope everybody kind of like this, and hope they want to subscribe to the channel. Like I said, I got these few other little things. There's my semi-pet chicken. So I got these other little things I'm going to do. I'm going to be building that. So I mean, if you like it, subscribe and like. I have that I'm probably going to work on this next. I have my cart that I'm going to turn around and be making a scissor lift. I've got that axle that's sitting there from that lawnmower that I was going to make into a seed spreader slash salt spreader, so that I can drive down it's a community driveway. We kind of live in like a little subdivision like type place, I guess you'd say. It's a private road. We got a private road, so my driveway is roughly my real property that I own. My driveway's 300 foot long. I normally just push the snow off of it because I can push it off before anybody drives on it, and it doesn't get packed down, so it goes away real fast. But on the road that leaves and goes into town, it is, I can't remember now, a mile, 2 miles long. It's pretty long. A lot of hills. Normally I turn around and put salt out, so up on the hills, so that not only us, of course, but everybody else can get out. And there's probably 20 people that use the road, and so I push the snow off the hills and then turn around because it gets pretty bad at times. This year it didn't snow at all. I only do it when I think that the vehicles are going to have our vehicle mainly, you know, but this is going to have troubles. But that's what I'm going to do with that thing. I'm going to make it into a drag behind salt slash seed spreader. And I made one before. It's this black thing right there. As you can see, it's right there, and it bolted under the back here, and it worked not too bad, I guess. It worked pretty decent for seed, but for salt it didn't really work for worth a hoot. I made that electric, and because I didn't really want to drag anything, so that when I turned around or whatever, it'd make it a lot easier to travel without having to drag a trailer with me. So I made it electric, and I used a window actuating motor, and I think when it turned on, I can't remember exactly, but I think it would run like 20 revolutions a minute, and it just wasn't fast enough, so I had to change gearing in it and made it run about 80 revolutions a minute, and then it would fling the salt really good and so forth. But the problem was the salt I was using was pretty dry, and so I had no problems. And so when I put in other salt, I use stock salts. What I use, it's pretty cheap, you know, and I can use it on for my deer and all that other junk, but use it for the animals. But it kind of was damp, and I had made the little stirs up into the deal. Well, the window motor couldn't turn the stirs, so I had to take out some of the stirs, so I only had one stir, and it just didn't work very well. I had to turn around and dry the salt, which it just became a big pain in the behind. So that's what I'm going to end up making that for, so that way I can put salt in it and, you know, drag it down the road, I guess, and drag it down the road. I don't know, I could probably hook it to where it hangs off of the back of this thing, and have the tires, you know, run up against this, so I could pick it up and down and just have the tires rolling on that, and that would probably work, I guess. I don't know, I haven't decided quite yet. That's why it's just sitting there in that big pile of stuff. It's all junk. That's what it is. It's all junk. And I just tried to repurpose some junk. But like I said, I got that thing I'm gonna make off. I don't know if I'll do it this summer or what, but I'm gonna make that so it has a scissor lift on it, so that way I don't have to get off the machine to dump it. I'm going to make that so that I can use it to obviously you know, do dirt work for deer plots or yard seed, or I don't know what, you know, everything that the person uses that for. And then I might use that thingy over there and put some ripper teeth on that, so that I can you know, dig this rock up a little easier. Not that it really matters, but just want to say thanks for guys watching. Hopefully somebody subscribes, and God bless everyone, and thank you very much.